Fully Baked Radio somewhere on the internet, preferably fullybakedradio.com.
Yes, yes. Welcome, everybody. First day of June. You're
June
now
1st.
tuned in with Fully Baked Radio. You got me, Flip Marley, my other host, Vanessa Maria, NJ Weedman, Lefty Grimes, and the one and only Cannabis King Barini. We're sitting here on a rainy day in Trenton, New Jersey,
Where are we?
on fullybakedradio.com live.
But where are we sitting in
Oh,
Trenton?
man.
We're
yeah.
broadcasting from our new studio headquarters in downtown Trenton at New Jersey Weedman's Joint.
Well, technically, this is
The
the Liberty
joint.
Bell Temple 3, correct? This is the temple, the sanctuary that we're sitting in.
Yep. This side of this building is called Liberty Bell Temple 3. Actually, the whole building is Liberty Bell Temple 3, but this side is the sanctuary, and that side is the joint where we're going to be.
AKA restaurant.
Right, it's a restaurant.
Word. Well, today's the 1st of June, which means we have a new indie artist of the month, Mendo Dope. Mendo Dope is a brother tandem hailing from Mendocino, California, right in the heart of the Emerald Triangle. Mendo Dope just released several videos, one on 420, other one about a couple weeks ago, and their new tracks off their upcoming album called Endangered Artist, expecting to be released on June 16th. Mendo Dope will be calling next week, letting us know a little bit about their album and some things that they're involved in. And they have big news that as a radio show and Mendo Dope have big news. So definitely look forward to that next week. Check out the website under Indie Artist of the Month, and you can find Mendo Dope's new video they just dropped, Rap Opera. That's up there with their last mixtape. Well, actually their greatest hits. So check out fullybakedradio.com, Indie Artist of the Month. But last week, pretty active week, you know. Kind of an inauguration of the restaurant happened last week. We had Charlo. She was inside, came to visit. Also,
Who are we having on today's show?
today we have Mr. Ricardo Rivera and Tuffy's Fight.
Oh, calling in from
Calling in.
Colorado?
Well, they're
Sweet.
back.
Oh, they're back.
Yeah,
Awesome.
they're back. They're back. So he's going to be calling in and let us know how Tuffy's Fight went in Colorado. You know, I seen some pictures. I believe it went great. You know, unfortunately, they had to come back to New Jersey, but it's all good. I know the Wheatman was pretty busy last week. Opened the restaurant, and you also had your appellate court hearing.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about how your court case went and maybe give people a little overview for those who are not familiar with your case.
All right, as everyone knows, in January of 2010, the state of New Jersey passed its medical marijuana laws, the Kumina Act, the Compassionate Use of Medical Marijuana Act. Anyway, I happened to be one of the first ones arrested right after that. 3 months later, on April 1st, I got arrested with a pound of marijuana. And, you know, in pretrial arguments, I had argued a whole series of arguments about marijuana is not a Schedule I drug anymore. New Jersey does, has misclassified marijuana, blah, 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 and all these different arguments. Anyway, the judge in the case denied everything, and we all knew it was going to go to the appellate court at a later date, which everything is there. It's at the appellate court now. I had oral arguments on Wednesday. To me, this case is like my Super Bowl. Like, all the things I've done over the years, this to me is the biggest event as far as legally goes that I've had ever. I've tried to get here before and it's been thrown out.
Why you say it's the biggest? You've been in and out of court since the 90s.
Yeah, but this one,
A lot of court cases.
a lot of people don't understand that appellate court decisions actually make law. Like, for instance, New Jersey doesn't have reciprocity, but I put the reciprocity issue.
Reciprocity being a patient could go from California to New Jersey, Colorado, all with the one medical card.
Right. Right. Exactly. The state would have to respect the cards of other states, things like that. In my particular case, when I got arrested on April 1st, I had a California card and was arrested in New Jersey, and I felt that it should have been covered under New Jersey's Kumina Act, but because it doesn't have a reciprocity, I was denied that defense. So as part of my appellate argument, that's one of the things I argued about reciprocity. If the appellate court rules in my favor, then it would set law, and despite the things that Christie says, Christie says things like, not on his watch and things like that. And it's like, to me, it's like, wait a minute, he doesn't understand fourth grade social studies, because I think with third or fourth grade you learned that
the bill.
there's 3 branches of the government that can all make law. The executive branch here in New Jersey, yes, he's the governor, he is the executive, so of course, and he's against it. Then there's the legislative branch, which consists basically of our 2-party system, and they're kowtowing to Christie, and they both parties have said that it's a no bill because he's going to kill it. And then there's the judiciary branch, the court system, and the court system, like I said, the appellate court, if they make a ruling, it changes law, it becomes law. And that's what I've been angling for years. And over the years, one way or the other, I get my cases dismissed when people would like cheer. But to me, it was like, wait a minute, I was trying to change the law. Anyway, this time, really due to the arrogance of the Burlington County Prosecutor's Office, who continued to prosecute me each time, here I am at the appellate court now, and the appellate court is going to make these decisions. And like I said, I believe I'm going to change the law. And throughout history, many social changes were affected in court. When you look at desegregation, like Brown versus Board of Education, or you go back further than that, Plessy versus Ferguson. Or there's a bunch of court cases that change laws. I mean, you can even say Roe versus Wade, with the women's rights.
No.
And here in this case, I think state versus New Jersey, there's going to be a ruling in the next few months, and I'm going to win on some things, and it's going to set new law.
Now, you were defending yourself. Usually when you're defending yourself, you're able to argue your argument in front of the judge.
Right.
That wasn't the case last week, was it?
Yo, I did get thrown for a loop. I called it a stunner.
Stone cold stunner.
Yeah, it's like about a week ahead of the court hearing, my lawyer contacted me, my assistant actually contacted me and told me that the appellate court just found out that I had planned on speaking for myself, and they said that I had to do it by motion form. And I knew, I'm one of these people, I believe if you ask, that means you're giving someone else the opportunity to say no. So I usually don't ask things. I just do it, right? So, all right. Under those circumstances, though, I asked. I actually put it in formal motion form and said that I was going to be speaking. Again, my court hearing was on Wednesday. On Tuesday afternoon, I found out the appellate court said, no, I can't speak. And I could have appealed it. It would have delayed everything for months. And like I said, I'm at the dawn of my Super Bowl to me. So I decided to just go for it. And I sat out and let the lawyer do it, which was amazing anyway. He did a very good job, seeing as I was supposed to be speaking. He did a very good job. He was prepared. Once or twice he did ask the court to defer to me, and he asked me a question and then spread. And I just thought that was amazing. These are the higher court judges in the state, and they weren't catching the concept of California versus Ferretta, which clearly says a defendant has a right to speak at all phases of court proceedings. But again,
especially in defense.
If I wanted to fight that, I think I would have won, but it just would have took a long time. And sometimes
another court date.
Yeah.
That's how they get you, is with the process itself.
That's what happened with.
Bury you in paperwork,
that's what happened with Carol Millman. She just got tired of being rung around and took the plea, like so many, like 90% of people usually do.
Yeah.
I think Weedman likes being in court, though. Unlike some people who really hate it,
To a point, I do. That would have been a great victory. If I fought it, but I didn't want. I didn't want to delay the bigger case. That's what it was.
I think it is exciting though when you do get that win. I was in federal court watching a bunch of attorneys battle it out over diversity in the media, and it was like, all these lawyers representing like Clear Channel, Viacom, GE, in really expensive suits. And then you had people working for nonprofits, just a couple of them. And they slayed these attorneys, they totally took them out. And in the end, the judge ruled in favor of the nonprofits and the media justice community. And to see regular people, be able to actually apply the law the way it's supposed to, and you see some justice in that, is really like exciting. So especially, I mean, that's just me as a spectator, sitting in court. I can't imagine if you're actually the one.
If the wee man can do it, I can do it.
I know, making the argument, and when the judge hands down the ruling, you're like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, well, I feel like I've put 4 years into it, 5 years into this case. It's the 5th year now. 5 years into this case. And like I said,
people cop out in like 5 months.
Yeah, but like, no way. I was going for it. I was going all the way, and here I am. In fact, there's a YouTube video. I got arrested on April 1st, 2010. I got out of jail on the 4th, and on the 5th, I made a video, and I called it. If you go to YouTube and type in statement number 1, NJ Weedman, I predicted what was going to happen. Yeah. And here we are, all the way through. If you watch that whole video, everything I predicted has come true. And now I'm waiting for the ruling.
Weestradamus. On a scale of 1 to 10, what do you think the probabilities of changing law?
Well, I put 16 different points of arguments, and I'm pretty confident I'm going to win at least 5 of them. I think I'm going to win most of them. In fact, I think it's going to be such a slam dunk that at some point the judges aren't even going to rule on some of the things. I think I'm going to win on a few, and they're just going to leave it alone. That's what I think is going to happen.
We hope you do win, because it's true. The way Chris Christie would have you think is that he is the only, dictator here in the state of New Jersey. And as Weedman said, if this does become precedent, it becomes common law, and common law is just as valid as laws that were created through Congress. And in fact, a lot of laws get amended in the courts because they strike certain parts of laws down as being unconstitutional and such. So thanks for your work. Thanks for representing you.
Definitely.
All right, thanks. Well, that's why I always wonder, every time you see Christie talking, he's always acting like, I was like, wait a minute, he's an attorney. How's he saying these things? And nobody questions him.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope it happens. We'd love to see it.
All right. Well, I believe, Vanessa, you have any fully baked news for us?
I sure do. We've had some exciting news in the past couple weeks. I was at the beach last week chilling. Hope y'all had a good Memorial Day, so I took a break. But
Charlotte.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Shout out to Charlotte Green.
Oh,
I think, in terms of having another strong female cannabis activist while I was away, you can't do better than Charlotte Green. So y'all brought in a superstar. Shout out to Charlotte. So this week, we're revisiting the case of Bill Levin, and he, of course, is the guy from Indiana who started the first church of cannabis.
Yeah, it's the gentleman we spoke with, right?
Yeah, he called into our show. He told us he was getting, what did he say, something like $1,000 a day. In contributions.
Yes.
So,
tax-free too.
For our listeners who are maybe not familiar with this news story, the state of Indiana passed a religious freedom law that was meant to protect churches. It was passed by religious conservatives who are interested in using this law to discriminate against LGBTQ populations. And so there was a large public outcry of this particular law. However, one clever gentleman named Bill Levin decided to use this law in his favor, and he created, along with some other people, the first church of cannabis. And he came on the show. He told us why he did it. He is going to use the church, as a means to collect income and also as a way to spread the message of cannabis and have protection for their use of cannabis. So we've been sort of closely watching his story as it unfolds. July 1st, they're supposed to open the first church. And we've heard from people all over the country who also now want to start their own churches. And if you know anything about churches, they're not really a church or a religion until you get 501c3 status, right?
You're sitting in one.
And so...
Amen, hallelujah.
And so the big news is that the first church of cannabis got tax exempt status. And this is really exciting because it means that the U.S. government recognizes this church as a valid church and religion. So, yeah, that's good.
Shout out to Bill Levin.
So I recently watched the Scientology documentary on HBO called Going Clear, and is
Going
really
what?
Going Clear,
Oh, clear. Okay.
and it's
Just making sure.
it's really interesting. And one of the things I learned is that the Church of Scientology had a really hard time getting tax exempt status. It was not recognized as a religion. Of course, we know it's like based on L. Ron Hubbard's sci-fi fiction stories. And of course, the US government was like, yeah, no, this is not a religion. But then years later, they finally bought their way into 501c3 status because Scientology is a gangster mafia. And then that's when they finally were like, and then their income was like in the, hundreds of millions. And so that is the key to like, getting tax-free revenue is start a church.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, I think it's really awesome that they got this. And now all that money that's rolling in, the $1,000 a day, is all going to be like tax-free money. So hopefully we can get him to call back in again and tell us more about the story.
I was
Yeah,
actually
he'll definitely
speaking to
call
him
back
the
in.
other day. I did an article, and he assisted on the article. So big shout out to Mr. Levin.
Oh, that's great. Did
Yeah,
talk
and
to
if you
our
want to
boy?
look for that article, go to our website, www.fullybakedradio.com, or you could check it out on Facebook and Twitter.
Definitely. Well, we're about to go into break soon. Coming back, we're going to have Ricardo Rivera and Tuffy's Fight call in, speak to us about their trip to Colorado. Let us know how that went.
We'll also be doing In the Oven with the Cannabis King, who's
Yeah.
going to tell us a little bit more about his arch nemesis, Chris Christie.
Tune in.
Fully Baked Radio.
Brothers and sisters today, what you doing up there? Hope you're doing fine. Well, I'm gonna make you mine, because all I've got in mind to give is love. Love, 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 love. Wadada, wadada. Wadada, wadada. Wadada, wadada. Wadada, wadada. Dub. Wadada, wadada. Wadada, wadada. Wadada, wadada. Wadada, wadada. Then I Islam wadada. One limb song. Hello, love, brother. Wadada, wadada. Wadada, wadada. Wadada, wadada. Wadada, wadada. Wadada, double. Wadada means love. Wadada, wadada. Wadada, wadada. Wadada, wadada. Wadada, wadada. The words of thy mouth and the meditation of thy heart, the activity of thy feet, O God.
This is AOL Radio.
I can't hear anything.
Yeah, we can just like work on something when I see you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you're full of ideas, so that's cool.
Oh, hey, welcome back. You're listening to Fully Baked Radio.
All right, Ricardo, we're about to go back in live, all right?
Yeah.
All right, let me give you a little intro then.
Fully Baked Radio.
Welcome back to Fully Baked Radio, the highest radio show on the internet. Highest show on the internet. Not even just radio. We got visual. You're now getting baked with the Weed Man, Cannabis King Barini,
Word.
Lefty Grimes, Vanessa Maria, me, Flip Flip Marley. If you'd like to call in and join our show, the number to dial is 862-259-2253.
Or you can hit us up online at fullybakedradio.com or on our Facebook or Twitter at Fully Baked Radio. Show us some love, y'all. We know you listening out
Let us
there.
know how
And
high
now-
you are.
And now we can have an audience too. We can get a live audience.
Yeah.
At least a few people can fit up in the studio on Monday nights, on
Hell
Monday
yeah.
afternoon.
We're gonna
We're
make it
always
happen.
looking for fans, interns, volunteers, donors.
Right across from City Hall. You know, we gotta get a live feed so we can like flip the camera to City Hall steps so people can see City
Put the
Hall.
show on them.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can definitely do like a split screen too.
yeah.
Uh-oh.
To have an outside shot.
About time.
All right. Well, we have a special guest on the line with us today. Very, very close special friend to us and the cannabis movement. For those of you who are not familiar with New Jersey's shitty cannabis laws, well, they suck. But most of all, innocent children have become victims of what's now a war on medical cannabis. As of today, we've seen 18-month-year-old Sabina Rose die in New Jersey, unfortunately. We've seen the DeSilvios have to pack up and leave. Tina and Sarah,
No,
they haven't left.
Tina's still here. Sarah left.
Oh, Sarah
It's Tina and
left.
Jenna.
Oh, Tina and Jenna left. Sorry about that. Jackson and Jenny left, and
And Diane Fornbacher and her family
Diane
left.
Fornbacher's left. You know, with Lady Bud magazine.
Sarah and Shauna.
Sarah
and
Shauna.
Shauna. And Ernie.
Yeah, these are all medical cannabis refugees.
Just fleeing a state, you know, fleeing their homes, fleeing their families, fleeing all their friends, their job, just so they could get medical cannabis. We have one of those victims, who is actually still in New Jersey. One of the men that's still here fighting the fight with us. Like I said, he's a great gentleman, top of the line. Can't say anything bad about him. We have on the line Ricardo Rivera, who is the father of Tatiana, aka Tuffy. Together they have an organization properly called Tuffy's Fight, which is looking to educate the masses on the necessity of children needing medical cannabis to live and to survive. And hopefully in return, they change the laws and change the views of people on cannabis and children. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a Fully Baked Radio round of applause to the one and only Ricardo Rivera.
Thank you, guys.
What's going on, Rick? How you doing?
Excellent, man. Thank you. Hope everybody's fully baked over there.
We are fully baked.
Sure.
For some of our listeners out there who maybe are just tuning into our show, tell them a little bit about your family and Tuffy's story and this campaign that you have, Tuffy's Fight, you know, to educate people about children and medical cannabis.
Well, my little girl, her name is Tatiana Tuffy, as Phil just said, and basically what's going on is my little girl started seizing at about 10 months. She got a diagnosis of a severe condition called Lennox-Gastaut syndrome, which is one of the most catastrophic forms of epilepsy. My little girl was averaging over 300 seizures per day. So if you can imagine 300 seizures, I mean, that's seizing all day, all night. We didn't know what to do. My little girl was on over 25 different combinations of drugs, pharmaceutical drugs, that is, and she was basically just dying in front of us. I mean, there wasn't too much we could do for her. We started to lose hope, and we started to hear about how cannabis could help with seizures. Being that she was on over 25 different combinations of drugs, we decided to just try to give it a shot. Well, we come to find out how hard it was to actually get into the program itself. I mean, first of all, you need 3 doctors to approve for the certification or the card itself for a child. Anyone under the age of 18, you have to be approved by a physician, would be her pediatrician, a cannabis doc, and a psychiatrist. And so at the time that we had applied for it, which was a while ago, it took us forever to actually find the three doctors. We ended up finding them through different connections and friends, which is really messed up. No one in the state would help us. We reached out to several political figures, including our lovely Governor Christie, and I would not get a response except for the fact that we're working on it. That's all I would get. Meanwhile, my daughter's dying right before our eyes, and I just couldn't stand it anymore. We had to do more. So we decided to confront the governor about this. And so here we are a year and a half later, advocating for these children that are suffering. I was treated like shit by his administration. My daughter was just completely forgotten about, and so I decided to actually start to help other people and other parents on educating them on the process itself, and not only the process, but how to make better medicine for their children and for themselves. So now we're just moving forward with that.
Man, I'm sorry to interrupt. Didn't Christie's goons throw you out of a town hall or press conference that he was at? Like,
Yes, he did.
So sick.
Yes, he did.
And you were there speaking about your daughter.
Yes, I had been to about 7 or 8 different town hall meetings throughout the state of New Jersey. A couple of them I had to drive about 2 hours away from my home in order just to ask him a question as to what's going on, because I was not getting any response from him and his administration. So he came down here to South Jersey, and that was the first day that I had given Tuffy her first dose of cannabis, which was pretty ironic. Wow. I felt as though that it wasn't fair that this was happening, that it took us so long to actually get the card. So I went in, I confronted him, and he had sent his state troopers to come and grab me and pull me out of the town hall meeting. I was threatened. I was treated like a criminal. I was told that if I continued to interrupt, I would be thrown in jail. And that was a big mistake to him, because I promised him that he would never forget who my daughter was. And I'm guaranteeing him that until the day I die, that he will not forget.
I feel that way too, man, on certain levels. So I feel you there.
I think Weedman can attest, and so can I. If you're getting kicked out of meetings, you're definitely doing the right thing. You're doing something right, and they really don't like to be faced with the truth like that. But we just want to give you some solidarity, and mad respect for continuing to go back and hold him accountable for this really inadequate cannabis program that we have in New Jersey. Tell us about your trip to Colorado. You recently flew out there with activist comedian N.A. Poe of the Panic Hour in Philadelphia. And you guys were joined by Adam Flicker of the bands Culture Real and American Babies. And the three of you had kind of like a bro venture out there. Going to different, locations out there, talking to people in the cannabis business. Tell us about it. How did it go?
Well, it was an adventure. It was really cool. I hadn't been gone from my family so long, and N.A. Poe came up with this idea, like, look, go out to Colorado and see what's going on out there, see how it works, and see if you can bring some of those ideas back with you here to Jersey. And at first I was a little skeptical, I know N.A. Poe, he's an awesome guy and everything, but just to leave my family behind and stuff, it was just weird to me. But then I was like, you know what? This would definitely be worth the trip, because they're doing things there that are absolutely amazing for patients like my daughter. Bringing back my knowledge would be priceless, not only for her, but other children throughout the state as well. And not only the state, I plan on going around the East Coast and trying to do this. It was an awesome adventure. I mean, we were so productive, and I have to say, N.A. Poe, thank you so much. You are like the most productive head I ever met in my life. I mean, this guy is amazing. Like, we did a trip pretty much all over the state. We went to Garden of the Gods. We looked at different dispensaries, recreational and medicinal. We also got coverage from Boulder Weekly, which is like an equivalent to like Philly Metro.
Oh yeah, shout out. That's my friend Gavin Dahl. He also did a show with you guys at KGNU in Boulder.
Yeah.
So shout out him. He's an amazing journalist, and he's been following us for a while. And you also hung out with the other medical refugees, Diane Fornbacher and Jenny Storms. How are they doing?
It was awesome. They taught me so much. I mean, I had a really in-depth conversation with Diane Fornbacher. The big shout out to her. She was just giving me, a rundown on how everything has evolved to what it is right now. And she is an excellent author and activist. She is the creator, too, of Lady Bud. Am I correct?
Yes, the founder.
Yeah.
Which is a cannabis magazine for women.
Yeah. She actually did a little interview with me, too. Took some pictures, took Tuffy's shirt, told us how much in big support she is for Tuffy. Which is big because she's such a big name in the game itself, and it was awesome. Jenny Storms, big shout out to her, great friend of ours. She taught me how to make some different medicine and stuff like that, so I could bring back that knowledge as well. I got to meet Brian Wilson as well, who happens to be.
Sweet. Right.
Yeah, you guys know Brian Wilson. He's the first one to actually confront the governor about the whole situation and the whole issue of medical cannabis here in Jersey. Big shout out to him. Him and his family are awesome. Vivian is the sweetest little girl you would ever meet. Everyone welcomed us there with open arms, and I just really appreciate all of it.
Now, how did Tuffy take in the whole experience?
Well, Tuffy didn't get to go over to Colorado, unfortunately, but we are planning another trip for October. We're actually working on some media stuff for her to get some coverage there as well. We're just right now just trying to get the best medicine possible for her lined up, so that way we can worry less about these seizures, man. These seizures are a killer. I mean, she still has them. I mean, Lennox-Gastaut is such a hard condition to control.
But for those that don't know Tuffy, I mean, and I haven't known the Riveras very long, but I know that in the short time that I've gotten to know your daughter, that she has improved dramatically, and nobody can deny the progress that's been made with her health in such a short time. Even your coworkers said that it was rather incredible.
Yeah. I work at one of our local hospitals here at Trauma Center. And I was actually approached today by a plastic surgeon wanting more knowledge, more information, and wants to get involved in the movement as well, because he said it. He was like, it's crazy how I seen your daughter laying up in the 51 minute, and now she's running around trying to rule the world. He's like, it's amazing. Yeah.
We'll tell him to get on the list of registered physicians. We don't have nearly enough doctors. And people who are recovering from plastic surgery need cannabis to recover. So that's the message I think you should tell them if you haven't already. I also want to give a shout out to the cannabis community here that, they contributed to a campaign that you guys run, an online fundraiser to help you guys get out there to Colorado. And in a very short time,
how much? One week. 1 week, right?
Yeah.
How much?
Yeah, it took about 3 days to actually get to where we needed to. It was, I think it was 2,500, and within 3 days we made that goal, and then we left it for just a couple more days, and we exceeded well over that amount. I mean, it was absolutely amazing, and we also had shirts donated to us. Big shout out to Adam Kilgore
from Dub Caesar Apparel.
Yes, he donated a bunch of shirts to us, and the shirts look absolutely amazing. I'm actually going to put up the link today for the shirts. Everybody can check them out on either Tuffy's Fight or on my page. The link will be up. I'll also have everyone share it if possible. I mean, if they don't buy a shirt, if you just share the link, that would be great too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you just give us and the listeners the website for Tuffy?
What was that? I'm sorry.
Can you give our listeners the website for Tuffy?
Oh, yeah. So she's on hashtag Tuffy's Fight. That's her group page on Facebook, and you can also check out my page too, Ricardo Rivera on Facebook. We're also on Instagram. We also have a website too, tuffysfight.web. And there's a couple other ones with links on hashtag Tuffy Spike that you can click on that people have either created or other people that have just decided just to help us out have made websites that they're up at Tuffy Spike too.
Definitely.
Hey, Ricardo, this is Lefty. Hey, what's up, buddy?
Bro? Nice to see you, man. How's
Yeah,
it
man.
going?
I can't wait to see you again. Last week, I shocked a couple of people by some things that I said. And I was talking about Tuffy. And I referred to Tuffy because I've heard other parents refer to the kids as this. And you've probably said it yourself at some point. And I referred to Tuffy as I think it was either a guinea pig or a lab rat. I'm not sure which one. And I forgot how shocking it was to say those words, because it really is shocking to have to say something like that and to talk about a child being an experiment, because the experiments that we're doing now on our children should have been done 100 years ago. William Haney told me a story last week about his mother. They called it the dropping illness, the dropping sickness, where he would watch his mother fall on the ground at 5 years old and bang her head on the concrete, and he would try to stop her head from banging on the concrete, and he felt helpless. And this could have been solved if she had access to medical marijuana. My wife's mother died from breast cancer back in the 70s. She had no access to medical marijuana because there was no research done. This research should have been done 100 years ago. And it really bothers me. And I'm sorry that it shocks people to hear those words, that children are being experimented on. And it should shock people. It should shock people to the point that they stop this experimentation and fix this problem with your kids and all these kids. It's horrible. And I don't know what to say. I'm glad you're getting the help you can, and the cannabis community is rallying around you as much as they can. And whatever I can do and the rest of us can do for you, we'll do for you, man.
Yeah. Lefty, big shout out to the whole legalization party itself, because, I am one of those parents that support the legalization party completely, because they have done that for us as well. And let me tell you something. There have been parents that have said, well, we're in the medical side of this movement. And I'm like, no, we're not. We fall under the same umbrella. The legalization movement has definitely impacted this whole thing pretty much more than any other aspect or sect of this whole movement. Yeah, it should have been done over 100 years ago. Unfortunately, it wasn't, and it's doing part of much of the corruption that's involved when we talk about pharmaceutical medication, talking about like Montecito and all those other. What's the big pharmaceutical company right now, like George Washington Pharmaceuticals or something like that made like a patent on cannabis by processing it? We don't even know the side effects yet of this medication. We all know that pharmaceutical medications have tremendous side effects, and I can tell you that firsthand, watching my daughter just do nothing but just be drugged up on pharmaceutical medications all day. She is a cannabis patient, and you can see, like Vanessa just said, how live she looks. How much life has come into her. And she's only, if you think about it, she's been on cannabis now a year. She's technically 8 years old, but I count her as just being a year old, because as long as she's been on cannabis, that's what's brought back life into my daughter.
We have to celebrate like her weed birthday. Right?
That's a good idea. We should. Yeah, we should. She had 2 birthdays. Her birthday just actually passed, her second birthday, but absolutely, that's a great idea.
When is her birthday, Ricardo? So we know.
She was, her birthday's January 17th, 2007. She's 8 years old now. She started cannabis on May 17th, 2014. So yeah, it's been a little over a year, and it has changed our lives so much. And I tell parents all the time that are so afraid to do this, just remember how poisonous these chemicals are that we're putting in our children's body, and just give it a try, because that's all you can do is just try,
Well, it seems like you've acquired a lot of knowledge in the last couple of years. You're intent on sharing it with other parents. Tell us about, your latest campaign or effort to get Tuffy's story out.
Well, we've done a few things, but as of recently, there's been a lot of issues with my daughter being able to get her medication back to school. And this is a major problem for us, because we've been dealing with this now for a little over a year, and they continue to tell us no. And we didn't want to put the school on blast about it, but they need to be put on blast because every time my daughter goes to school, she ends up having a seizure there. And when she's home, she doesn't have any seizures. Now, I think that's a total bunch of bullshit that you're not allowing my daughter to have her proper medication because it's a Schedule I drug when her own nurse, her own number one advocate at school has acknowledged that her seizures have decreased tremendously. Her seizure count has gone down by about 85 to 90% ever since starting cannabis, by the way. But at school, her seizures continue to happen because she's not getting access or being allowed to have access
to her medication, right? And yet they let those other kids maybe have Ritalin or Adderall for ADD or ADHD, or maybe kids with diabetes take their insulin. Like, it's totally unfair and discriminatory towards her. And I smell a lawsuit. You should talk to Weed Man about that, because I do believe it's a violation of her civil rights. And it's totally unacceptable. And the way to make people be aware of the story is, you know, to educate them and share it far and wide. So if you're listening out there, you know, head to his website and share the story.
Yeah, definitely. And I was actually reading an article the other day, and if I'm gonna try and find it and send it to you, Rick. It was about CBD deprivation. You know, coming to the fact that we know we have CBD receptors in our bodies and things like that, and then there is like scientific knowledge that smoking or ingesting CBDs can activate these receptors. There was a doctor that was saying if the body doesn't get its CBDs in the proper amount, just like if it wouldn't get iron or calcium or things like that, it's like it'll be the same type of deprivation, and the body doesn't function. And stuff like that. So, yeah. So when I read that article, I was thinking about you guys, and it was a little bit more in depth. I'm trying to think of it, but the fact that scientists are now trying to link CBD to actual medical deprivation from the body and like a necessity to survive. Like, I just thought it was an amazing piece. And if I find the link, I'm gonna send it over to you.
Yeah, we should connect you to this guy, Dr. Jahan Marku. He's with Americans for Safe Access, and he's on the board of Philly Normal, and he worked in Philly at Temple University studying the endocannabinoid system, and he often testifies in Pennsylvania at the legislative hearings, talking exactly what you're talking about, you know, the proven medical benefits via his own research, you know, that has been accepted by the IRB, which is the Institutional Review Board, you know. And I think when scientists testify like that, people that really are just interested in knowledge and truth, you know, that senators have a really hard time, you know, denying it.
Yeah, I think it was Dr. Grinspoon, now, the Harvard doctor that started in that campaign. You know.
We bet there's a lot of cannabis doctors who are still in the closet, you know. Oh, yeah. And it's a shame because we could probably open up an entire clinic, you know, of doctors who specialize in different things but use different, you know, cannabinoid treatments.
Yeah, you know what pisses me off, though, is how they're treating my daughter. Like, okay, sure, I understand it's a Schedule I drug. Okay, fine. But my daughter, it's not like my daughter is going to the bathroom with a bong and just hitting the bong in the bathroom and then walking back into her classroom. It's not like that, you know?
Yeah, I mean, they can't have it both ways, you know? Like, I hate, what they're using is the federal argument, right? You know, and it's what a lot of people cite as like, oh, well, you know, it's against the federal government, you know, the FDA, the DOJ, you know, alphabet soup. And it's because it's the path of least resistance, right? You know, there's like no liability at all if they just forbid you from doing it. And there's no logic in it whatsoever. And so, you know, not in defense of them, but we still have to address this federal problem. And hopefully we can get a bill like the CARES Act passed that would, you know, eliminate some of these barriers. You've been in contact with Cory Booker's office. What do they say?
Well, the last time I spoke to his administration, it was about the CARES Act. I think now, instead of starting to go after like these higher level politicians, I think it's better now to, because I know Christie doesn't give a shit about anything about what's going on with my daughter or the other kids throughout the state of New Jersey. So the next move is to actually reach out to whoever this new, medical cannabis director is. I know the one guy that was in charge of it was like a state trooper, which makes no sense.
John
The
O'Brien.
ones that should, whoever should be running that program should have some kind of medical training, like Ken Walski or Jenny Storms or
Ken Wolski for sure. I not to interrupt you, but the same exact thing is like happening in Delaware, where the only and first medical cannabis dispensary, it was licensed to a state trooper, former state trooper. Like what?
Julio.
What this makes
Julio.
no sense.
It doesn't at all. It doesn't at all. And they need to start thinking outside the box instead of having like their
'Cause
political connections and
they
their
can't
friends
help
in charge of these things.
Yo, Ricardo, real quick. It's Wayne. What's the
So,
name
Wayne,
of
how
this?
you doing, Kenny?
Fantastic. How you doing?
Excellent, thanks.
How's that beautiful daughter of yours doing?
She's beautiful, man. She's doing well. She had a little bit of a rough night, but yeah, she's doing good overall, man. She's toughy, man. She just bounces right back up like nothing ever happened.
Yeah, God bless her. Hey, where does Tuffy go to school? I want to put it out on blast.
She goes to Lark in Belmar, and the great people there. And I kept this kind of quiet for the past year, but I think it's time now that something is done about it, especially now that her seizures have increased so much there.
Now, is this a charter school or a public? What kind of school is this?
It's a private school. It's through my district.
Okay.
It's the same.
So Ricardo, this wait man. Hey, so when she's home and all with you can control it pretty good, but then when she's at school, then her seizures increase.
Oh, apparently they won't give her the pill.
Yeah.
Wow.
So at home, because she's on a regular dosage, as soon as she gets to school and around 12ish, when she's supposed to get another dosage, she has a seizure right there because her body's become immune to being able to take in CBD and the THC. By the way, we are those parents that support THC 100%. And she's being deprived of both compounds, which is, at the end, she's having seizures. And let me tell you something about my daughter's condition. LGS, they have an average lifespan of just 9 years. 9 years, guys. And my daughter's 8 years old. And the reason for the 9 years average lifespan is because of all the seizures that they have due to drop seizures like William's mother used to have. They hit their head constantly, and they're constantly getting brain trauma. So that's why for the 9 years average lifespan. Now, let's say my daughter has a seizure at that school, and she dies, God forbid. Then what? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, so what? I can sue the state of New Jersey, but then I end up losing the only person that I have.
Ricardo, is this the same school that's given the barbers hoops to jump through? Jenny Barber?
Yeah.
Wow, that same school.
Yeah.
Oh, you live close to Jenny Barber?
They're going to federal court on that one.
All the same.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. INE tour?
Where do we have to smoke, Ricardo? Just point us to the place where we have to smoke. We're
Right
there.
across from the street of the
That's
school.
a dangerous school. They wanted Jenny to walk her kid across that street there. You've seen that street. There's huge trucks on that street doing 50 miles an hour. And the school, one of the options was, oh, yeah, you can pick Jenny up and walk her across the street and give her her medicine and walk her back. Yeah, right. That's going to work.
That's bullshit, man. I mean, why should we have to, like, stop our lives when you have trained professionals there that can do that? I mean, what do they want me to do? Do they need me to just buy a safe, give them a key for the safe, and they could put their own combination just to put my daughter's oil in a safe? I mean, that's crazy.
They're crazy. They're ignorant, and they're willfully ignorant, and they're stubborn. People are very set in their ways. They don't want to change their minds, and I don't understand it either, Ricardo. Like, you would think that as an educator and a lover of children, you'd be like, wow, this helps her and helps save her life. What can I do to support you and your family and this little girl? But instead, they're standing in your way, and it's
How do we cover
really
our
crazy.
ass? Let's cover our ass.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no.
well, it's not only standing in our way. It's putting our daughter's life at risk.
Yes.
I mean, they just implemented something in Colorado for parents to actually go up to the school as well and just give it to them and stuff. But, I mean, this is crazy. Like, this is a nationwide issue right now, and they need to do something about it because somebody's going to die because of this. Somebody's going to die, and it's going to cost somebody, you know, their lives, and it shouldn't be fucking happening. Excuse my language. But
yeah,
my daughter's all I have.
And it's just not, it doesn't stop there, though, because there's already a little girl that died in Philadelphia because they're taking away all the school nurses, you know? So it's just part of a wider issue of lack of adequate medical resources for children in these schools and no accountability on behalf of, you know, the educators. And I think that parents like you need to band together and stand up and let's do a big press campaign. Let's put them on blast, you know, because like you said, you know, if we don't do something, a bigger accident or death, you know, might occur.
Yeah. I mean, it needs to be done right away because, I mean, it's just a matter of time. Like I said, 9 years average lifespan. 9 years. My little girl's 8 years old.
Yeah, and we have a legal medical program here. Like, I don't understand why you wouldn't be able to access your medication. And similarly, Jenny and Jax recently made headlines where she, you know, packed his lunch with medical cannabis oil that was in pill form. And then they suspended Jax, who in no way is capable of even packing his own lunch and making those decisions. They penalized the child.
Still, it's medicine. That's what
and
really
it's
frustrates
legal
me.
in Colorado, and
It's
you know
medicine.
that is like prescription stuff. It's not like homemade or whatever. And even if it was, you're allowed
They
to.
shouldn't even know
like,
what it is. It's like, yo, it's medicine. Yo, I got to give him his pills. I got to give him from this prescription jar.
They got to suspend
Boom.
somebody.
Exactly.
Somebody has to get suspended. Somebody.
Don't look at what the frig the medicine is, because they don't give a shit if it's Ritalin. They don't give a shit if it's OxyContin in the kids, and they're giving it to them.
That's sending a message
it's
that the
medicine.
parents don't know what's best, and I think that
No,
they
that's
do.
saying that's not a message to the parents saying, you know what, screw you, screw your kid, stay at home. We don't want your kid to get a fucking education. Stay at home. That's what it tells these people. Your kid's worthless, and it's bullshit. I'm sorry I had to get like that, Ricardo. I'm sorry, but people got to wake up.
I think we
Yeah,
need
that's
to, in addition
sickening.
to starting our own cannabis churches, that we need to start our own cannabis community schools, because they're learning a false history about drugs. You know, they're being taught, you know, things that are detrimental to their own health, and they're being denied medical access. You know, so like, what better reasons for us to, you know, to try to create something better for them, because I'm not sure what else we can do besides sue their pants off.
Yeah, I mean, so what if we sue them? You know, they got tons of money. They don't care. You know,
Right.
they're so stuck and so brainwashed into believing that pharmaceutical medication is so much better than something natural that they're willing to put my daughter's life on the line for that. And that's what really upsets me. That's why I never went public with it at first, because of the fact that, you know, my daughter does go there. They have shown over and over again that they do care about her. But the second that I question them, you know, I'm like, look, I need to speak to someone about this. They end up sending an attorney to come talk to me about it. And it's like, you know what?
What?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like, you know what? You want to send an attorney to come talk to me? I'm not stupid. I'm not going to sit there and go back and forth with an attorney. So I just said, you know what? Screw this. I'm getting an attorney too then.
That's right.
What
So
do you,
sad.
what do you say? What did the attorney say?
Well, he was like, we need to talk about this issue about your daughter being able to take her marijuana at school. Could you please give me back a call right away? We really, really need to talk. We could come to some kind of agreement on this without going into the legal aspect of it. I said, you know what? Screw you, dude. I'm calling somebody that knows what the hell to do and say dealing with someone like that, because I have no idea. I'm a medical professional. I'm nothing legal. I'm not some kind of legal analyst or Johnny Cochran or anybody. I don't know any of that stuff. You know?
Although you do know New Jersey Weed Man, and that's
That's the
Yeah,
closest
no,
Cochran.
that's pretty damn
It's a
good.
lot better.
The people's lawyer.
You're right.
They're like, oh no, he knows weed, man. Like,
I would say talk to him though, real
Mm-hmm.
quick. Find out, hey, is he gonna give you what you want? If he wants to fight about it, then go see a lawyer.
I wouldn't go there alone though. You know what I mean? Like,
You don't agree to nothing. You can just talk.
yeah, but
Find out.
it's ironic that they would say, like, before we go into the legal, like, you already made it a legal aspect by sending a lawyer to talk to me.
Well, they don't
right?
want the PR nightmare either,
Yeah.
Well,
They
it's
wanna
a
see
little
legal
late
right
for
then.
that.
and they may be reaching out like that too. So that's what I said. You should find out what kind of where he's going. Don't agree to nothing. Absolutely walk in there knowing you're not agreeing to nothing. But still,
Yeah.
just speak to him or whatever. Find out. Just tell him what you want. Tell him what you want.
Right, make your demands known.
Say, all I want to do, just like you just talked to us. All I want to do is give my daughter the medicine that makes her life, more bearable. And
Yeah,
So they don't have her blood on their hands because
Yeah.
that would be far,
And-
far worse.
and say you're content with that alone, and anything else, yeah, all right, fine. If you guys want to come at me with a lawyer, and I come at with you with the negative PR, and we get as much national attention to this. If that's how you want to do it, go ahead. But I'd much rather just give my daughter her medicine.
Yep.
That's what you should
My
say.
daughter, medicine and education.
How hard is that?
Do your job.
How hard
damn
is
it.
that? Cavemen used to take care of their kids. Cavemen.
And then walk out. And then walk out after you say it.
Jeez.
Well, I did
No, hopefully not.
I did talk to the nurse the other day, and she again acknowledged the fact that my daughter has improved dramatically, but her hands are tied. And it's like, you know what, though? You can do a lot more. But I understand.
Yeah,
Your
but
job is on the line.
The lawyers are advising somebody, so that's who you tell. They
They screw everything up.
But they're advising somebody at the school. Somebody at the school reached out and grabbed a lawyer because they don't know what to do.
Or they have like a lawyer on their board or something
Yeah.
that's their de facto public spokesperson on
Well,
these
most
types of issues.
Most big corporations would have.
A lawyer on deck.
And aren't
Yeah.
they right? Because in a way, you can't argue for any kind of federal stuff as a lawyer. Isn't that why the unions
Well-
dropped their case?
Well,
Because
I'm not sure about that. I mean, but just as a crisis standpoint, a corporation would consult with a lawyer, and if this lawyer reached out real quick, trying to figure out what's going on real quick, I would at least say something to him right now, and see where it goes. I wouldn't just
Just to hear what they have to
yeah.
say.
And when you go see a lawyer anyway, he's gonna want money somehow. He's gonna want something. He's gonna want to
I'm
prepare
telling you,
for it. He's gonna
Take New Jersey Weed Man with
It's gonna be
you.
a couple weeks down the road.
You should. You should.
It'll be a couple weeks down the road. I mean, I don't know. Just find out. Tell him, hey. I bet you if you called him back and told him like, yeah, listen, I need to talk right away because it's about my daughter.
What? Hey, Ricardo, Phil here.
I don't know.
Have you spoken to like any other parents that go to the school other than Jenna? Other parents whose kids don't need medication. Have they reached out to you in any way?
No, I mean, it's not happening to their child. So, I mean,
Man,
everybody has their own issues going on with their children already in school. So,
see,
no, none of them reached out to me. But actually, I seen Mr. Barber the other day. Big shout out to him. He's a great, amazing man too. He's another Canna parent that has been, speaking behind the closed doors about this, and he tells me to continue moving forward and just continue to put pressure on them because something has to be done.
yeah. Like me being a young. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say me being a young father, and having a daughter, like I can't even imagine going through some of the things that you go through, and it's like people, like other parents per se, to see a parent struggle like that, like it should strike a chord, especially when it's in your own school.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Unfortunately, not too many of them think that way.
On the flip
just
side,
as
there
big as
is like
the-
a
as big
national
as the
network of parents just like you that are linked through social media that can at least offer some support, correct?
Yeah. There are a few.
Brian Wilson's good.
Oh, yeah. He was talking about it the other day when we were talking. He told me to to reach out to, like I said, to whoever it is that's running the program, for the cannabis program here in New Jersey. He also told me to reach out to the head nurse of the entire school nurses association here in New Jersey. They would be a great resource to talk to.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You should hit up a PTA meeting too and protest. I'll come protest with you.
Yeah, how does the private school meetings work? Like, is there a school board? Like, how do parents or in the public interface with the administration?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Like, it's a private school, so I'm not sure that they have the same process that public schools are. Like, there's school boards and public meetings.
Yeah.
Like, how does the private school work? Like, how do the parents interface with the administration?
Yeah, they do have a board, but they haven't been willing to speak about any of this yet. I think, we meant that they're actually just getting advice from their attorneys on, what to talk to us about and what not to talk to us about at this point.
The lawyers will jumble it all up too. Like I said, keep it nice and plain and send that back to the board. He's gonna report it back. What you said. To whoever's in charge, he's going to report it back.
Yeah, if I were you, I would put your demands in writing, state simply, document that you are advocating for X, Y, and Z.
Yep, keep it simple.
And send it to the whole board and their attorney, and then, say, I await your response or something like that.
Well, Ricardo, I got a question for you real quick. Are you telling me that the Barbers have their child also in the same school?
Yes.
I mean, this seems commonsensical to me, unless they are more of, they don't want to go public about it. But wouldn't you both join together? And I mean, since you both have Canna kids and they're both in the same school, I mean, doesn't numbers talk loudly?
It could be Thursday's column.
There you go.
There you go.
You're at Thursday's column. I heard that.
I had no idea that the Barbers and you, Tuffy.
Yeah, it's the first time I heard that.
This is blowing my mind.
Yeah, it's shocking to me that two kids are in the same school that have the same problem, and they're being screwed over the same way. Yeah. Like they're looking out for all the kids. Well, look out for two. You got two right here you can look out for.
This is a private school.
What are you talking about?
You're paying money.
Oh, my God.
Last I heard, in the entire state of New Jersey, there's only 8 children under the age of 18 that are actually enrolled in the program. I don't know how true that is, but by numbers from what I was told by someone, higher up that deals with the program itself, he told me that there's only 8, and it's weird it's ironic how there's 2 children in one school together that are...
It means something.
And they're both getting screwed.
That means something.
And also, it's really a disgrace that only 8 children are enrolled in a state of 9 million.
We're going to change that.
Isn't that crazy?
That
crazy?
is
and
really...
There's a lot more children with Lennox-Gastaut and autism and different seizure disorders, too. But the problem is like I said earlier, it's so hard to get into the program. I mean, I talk about this all the time. Thousands of dollars later, I was able to get a card for my daughter because of scammers, because of doctors turning us away over and over again, because it being a cash pay only basis. All that, all those different dynamics really makes it hard for other parents. It takes a lot of balls and guts to really try to get that card.
Actually, Ricardo, I'm going to be using you coming up. I had a woman who has a child, and she wants me. I don't know why me, but she wants me to do a documentary on her child trying to get a legal medical marijuana card in New Jersey. So I'm going to need you because you having a child and you actually did it. I'm going to need your expertise in finding 3 doctors.
Sure.
All right? So we're going to keep close on that. I appreciate that. And we're going to talk about this on the radio, wherever I can.
Who else do you need?
I don't know. I need everybody.
You don't know? Okay, there you go.
I need everybody.
I wonder why they ask you. Of all people, they're asking you.
Tell her get ready for a long ride because even having connections, it's hard. I had to go all the way up to New York City to one of the doctors there and pay him a few $100s for him just to look at a video of my daughter interacting and him saying, okay, she's approved for the program. So tell her just be ready, because it's not easy at all.
I will do that, Ricardo.
Well, thank you so much for sharing all this knowledge, and congratulations on your awesome trip to Colorado. And we here at Fully Baked Radio will do what we can to share your story and get people informed on this issue. And we totally support, change in policy and law, to get these kids access to medical cannabis. Can you tell our listeners one more time before we go to break where to find more information about Tuffy's fight and how they can support your family?
Yeah, so go to #Tuffy's Fight on Facebook. You can go to my page, Ricardo Rivera, on Facebook. You can go to Instagram. There you'll find tons of different links, different stories. I'm constantly talking about other children that have benefited from cannabis or can benefit from cannabis. I have tons of research on both pages. I have so much information, and I also have information on how to make medicine better now that I got back from Colorado. And I want to thank everyone that went to the GoFundMe and put money in, even if you put nothing in and you shared our story and you shared the GoFundMe. Thank you to everyone. Big shout out to the entire New Jersey marijuana movement here. Big shout out to all my friends that I made in Colorado, Florida, all over the country, all over the world. Big shout out to my friends in Spain. Big shout out to my friends in Japan. Big shout out to Austria. Big shout out to everyone around the world that supports cannabis. And remember, cannabis is medicine. We love you guys. Tuffy loves you. Thank you so much, everyone.
We love
All
you
right,
too, man.
Ricardo Rivera, thank you so much for speaking with us today.
Thank you.
All right, when we come back, we'll have Wayne, Cannabis King Barini, do his In the Oven. We've got more cannabis news. Keep it locked here on Fully Baked Radio.
Soup.
You little bitch.
Welcome back. You're listening to Fully Baked Radio on www. www.fullybakedradio.com. As you can probably tell, we are fully baked. And we are broadcasting live from Trenton, New Jersey, from the Liberty Bell Temple, which is New Jersey Weedman's new place. It's our new studio. And if you'd like to talk to us, you can visit our website at www.fullybakedradio.com and our Facebook and Twitter. We have the Cannabis King, Barini, here. What's up, Wayne?
What's up? What's up, everybody?
What's on your mind?
A lot of things. I did have a couple of topics to throw in the oven, like our governor. But after hearing what we just heard, how can we not throw in Lark School? That's LARC School.
Elementary school.
It's special education school.
Yeah, Lark Elementary in Belmar.
In Belmar, New Jersey. I got to throw these guys in the oven. I mean, not one, but two canna kids. And they can't get their friggin' medicine. This isn't a public school. This is a school that they're paying. The parents are paying money. They're paying their tax dollars, and they're paying money for their children to go to this special education school. And yet, where's the compassion for these special kids? There is no compassion. So I got to throw the Lark School in there. I'm sorry.
And they're even getting it through the state. You know, they're sanctioned by the state as far as the kids go. They're patients.
It's
and I'm sure
injustice.
I'm sure Lark receives a lot of state money at some point and federal money also.
Definitely. There's all kinds of grants and programs that those schools apply for to support their funding.
Right. So that money being spent on the school is public money. You know, these kids, and we don't want to start anything I'd much rather them just to let let them get their
I mean,
medicine.
you don't want to start. You don't want to
I'm
start
saying
nothing. I mean, I have their phone numbers here. We could just give the phone number out and hey, feel free to call the school up.
Yeah.
No, hey, give the kids the medicine. That's all.
What do you say? If
What's
it's
simple?
that? No, I'm not doing that. What if you say if a disaster? Hold on, listen. I'm serious. What if you say if a disaster happens and they just say, get the.
We don't want no disaster.
Take your kid and go. Princeton did it to Don Zazarn.
Well, we're gonna keep them in the oven until we hear back from Ricardo.
No, yeah.
And then when Ricardo tells us to troll them,
I mean,
we will
I have
unroll
phone numbers.
the
I have
campaign.
fax numbers.
Playing with fire.
I have email addresses.
You're playing with fire, and you want to get burned.
I have like mail addresses, like the old snail mail.
Hold on with that one.
Okay.
Hold on with that. Let Ricardo speak to the man. Let him make decisions like that.
But if you have a kid at the school, by all means,
or at least you don't do it on his behalf.
I'm so pissed off because parents take so much
mad.
stuff for granted.
No, that's good. That's good. He's mad. I'm just saying, don't hold on.
On the back end, it's not my kid.
I'm saying the legal way. I'm just saying writing, calling. That's all. I mean, don't do anything stupid.
Smoking.
Well, we might. The I&E tour might have to go right across the street where it's legal, and smoke. Or we might even go to the principal's house.
I don't know. I'm with the weed man. Sit down with the lawyer. Sit down with the lawyer.
Two kids are getting screwed.
Let Ricardo find out what's going on first.
Yeah.
Wayne wants to go smoke outside there, immediately.
Yeah, I'm ready.
I'm gonna smoke anywhere.
Yeah, you can.
Let's smoke out Wawa.
Belmar. You know how far that is?
But what if they just get totally scared that they're gonna become the poster child for this, that, and the other, and instead they're just gonna bail out?
Actually, they're a special education school,
right?
So they should lead the way. They should lead the way on this.
They're locked in somehow with providing the county or the state something with these kids that have
locked in how?
Disability with the that's not my specialty, but I'm pretty sure they're an organization that provides a service, and the state and city are paying for it because all kids have to have, depending on their no matter of their disability, they have to be provided an education.
That's right.
So somehow, without even researching it, I don't know.
Somehow you got conservative in your old age.
School, no man, this it's serious.
The school districts put out an RFP to provide these services, and private businesses like Lark or organizations apply for these funds, and they get them, and then they have to take a certain number of kids from different geographic locations.
But if that lawyer just reached out to find out what's going on, I'd find out. I'd say whatever because they don't want the hassle.
You sound like my dad.
Let's hope it just works itself out, and if not,
don't do those stupid Chris Christie movies.
You can do.
He won't come into our store.
Listen,
come on, man.
I've been an FU man for a long time, and I still am. I still am an FU man. But you know what? You won't be the one to get burnt either.
I hear you.
You know what I mean? Not on that. It's too big of a thing.
The kids are already
Are
getting
you going to
burnt.
provide education?
The kids are already getting burnt, though, man.
No, but are you going to provide her the education?
Well, we could do better than they are.
Can we put
They're
somebody
pretty much saying
else?
Go home.
Can we put someone else in the oven this week?
Yeah, who else you got there, Wayne?
No, he's cool. That's I forget.
All right, fine. Let's put Governor Christie in there. Since you don't want to go to school, you all want to point out the big fat governor. I'll put him in there. There's still no edibles at the dispensary. This is like, what's going on here? John O'Brien, he pretty much was.
He loves me. He's my buddy.
He's done, bro.
He's gone?
He moved out of the state. Hello, remember?
Oh,
remember
really?
Jim Miller came on?
Oh, no.
So we don't even know who's running the DOH.
Who's not going to call me now?
Who knows? Who knows?
I want to know who's not going to call me back now. I demand to know who's the person that's not going to return my calls.
Julio. That's who.
No, he returns my calls now. His minions return my call. And he's got the best blueberry in New Jersey, Julio.
Not really.
And that's because I laid down in front of his store, and they let me in.
PH has some good Blue Dream and blueberry.
We also want to shout out the Sandy victims. I did a tour this week where they showed that the bulk of the money was given to the boardwalks and not the people and how they still haven't received money to fix their houses. And this is squarely on Christie's shoulders, you know? So he's in the oven, like, you know, double roasted.
Did you cut your hair yet?
No, not yet.
Let me see. Show the camera. Can we see it? Yeah, we can. All right, we got a bit to make. You have to come. You have to. I need you
gotta
in my.
dye the sides.
No, you got to come and sit in my bedroom, lay on my bed in your
Whoa,
underwear.
Whoa.
No, it's not that kind of movie.
Whoa.
You're Governor Christie.
I'm not playing that part.
You sat on my toilet.
Well, that was then. It wasn't your bed.
You sat on my toilet.
I'm not sitting on your bed. If it was on my bed?
Yeah.
If it wasn't on the
Tell me,
toilet. If it's not
Sex talk with Chris Christie. No, next video, sex talk with Chris Christie.
Right.
We're gonna use his own quotes. Sexy though.
Okay, go for it.
No, it'll work. It'll work. Do it. Do the one. Do the one. Do the one.
I
Blood
forget.
money.
Oh, okay. You don't know how hard this is.
Come on, man. Come on, man. It's the best bit ever. He's laying on my bed in his underwear with the shirt and tie on, panning up. Come on, bro. Come on. You don't have to be there. Don't worry. I sat in a room with him while he pooped, bro. I sat in a room with him while he pooped and farted, for real. You owe me this. You owe me this.
Governor Christie's sex tapes? Governor Christie sex tapes?
Yeah.
Is that what you're going to do?
Sex talk with Christie.
Oh, we found out some of his quotes.
He's got great quotes.
Wow.
He's got great quotes.
Don't
give them away.
That's just an obvious
That's just one, yeah.
You know?
There's like 5 of them like that.
He talks about
Well,
nuts.
He just did a cooking show.
balls. That guy's crazy.
He is nuts.
Make a spoof. Go for it.
He's nuts. Christie is nuts. He's a sex fiend.
Go for it.
So who else you got, Wayne? Are we putting the governor in the oven?
Yeah,
Where's my sample?
I was hard oven on the bird of who?
Mr. T. Where's Mr. T? We gotta get Mr. T's sample on here.
That's an inside joke. No one got that. I thought it was funny.
Well,
let's go. Are you supposed to be the producer?
All
Where
right.
is
Well,
he?
I have a person you could put in the oven, and it's Pennsylvania Republican Representative Matt Baker. He is single-handedly blocking the medical cannabis bill that's in the Pennsylvania state legislature. It recently passed the Senate overwhelmingly. I think it was like 40-7 or something like that. And now it has gone to the House. And he is the chair of the House Health Committee. And he is not letting it come up for a vote because he says that it has not yet been approved by the FDA and still illegal and a Schedule I drug. And therefore, that, you know, he's not going to even let it come up for a vote. Now, this is really messed up because a recent Quinnipiac University poll showed that 88% of Pennsylvanians supported medical cannabis. 88%. You know, that's not a small number. That's overwhelmingly the majority of people who want to implement a medical cannabis program. We have Governor Tom Wolf, who is very supportive of medical cannabis, thinks it should be decriminalized, recently said that it's ruining families and communities. And then his top policy advisor, as we know, is John Hanger, who ran for governor as well on a legalization platform. So literally one man is blocking medical cannabis for the entire state of Pennsylvania, and it's really crazy. Now, you know, we can't just accept his argument of it being not approved by the FDA. And so people have looked into his campaign finance contributions. And sure enough, we're not surprised by this, that the majority of his funds come from pharmaceutical companies.
We found it.
Always for the oven with the burn and heat.
Right off.
This is
good, making sure I had some of the pain that you felt when I was born.
That's it. We have to get that right. Who's for the oven in the burning heat? That's awesome.
That's Chef Maurice.
Yep.
Go ahead.
There you go.
Go ahead.
That's right. You got to talk into the microphone.
He didn't switch on me.
Oh.
All right.
Hey. That's a private joke. Here.
As I was saying before, I was so rudely cut off by
Sorry.
my retarded co-host.
Oh.
Was that you? Was that Phil or me, or both of us?
I didn't
Because
say
I think our
it.
listeners want to hear this story.
Yes, we do. We all do.
All right, go for the story. Sorry.
Matt Baker is blocking the medical cannabis bill, and he is completely funded by pharmaceutical companies, with AstraZeneca being the #1 contributor. And he said he will not approve marijuana, and that he even told parents of kids, with different illnesses, same type of people like Ricardo and Jenny, but from Pennsylvania, that they should wait 2 more years when a epilepsy drug is scheduled to come out in 2017. And this is really crazy. And, people of Pennsylvania need to do something about it. And, the people of New Jersey and Delaware and New York, we all travel to that state. We need to support them as well. So for that reason, I would like to put Matt Baker in the oven along with Christy and the people at the Lark School.
Making sure I had something to eat. T is for the time that she stayed up night and took my temperature on the pain that she felt when I was gone.
O is for the oven.
That's horrible.
We'll
work on that.
We'll get it.
We'll get it better.
Well, thank you, Vanessa, for the news report. That was Matt Barker once again.
Baker.
It's
And the
Matt
candlestick
Baker,
maker.
over in Pennsylvania. We
Yeah,
should
go
reach
to
out-
his Facebook page. Oh, no, they trolled him so hard he deleted his Facebook
Wow,
page.
we should
he got
reach
a
out
Twitter?
to
Does he have a
Steve.
Twitter?
We should reach out to Steve Albrecht.
So, yeah, we should and get an update on this guy.
Hell yeah.
But if you go to the East Coast Cannabis Coalition page, there's several memes our friends at Pittsburgh Normal have posted. They're really, going out of this guy. So shout out to Pittsburgh Normal. It has his phone number. People have doxed him. They put all his information out there. Not necessarily on our page, but definitely feel free to troll.
Matt Baker. So it's that time of the show
That
where
leads us
we
to-
get the wise words of the day from
The Weed Man.
Mr.
Man, I'm
Jay
going to keep
Weedman.
it super, super short and sweet. And I think some people would get it. Real quick, just fuck the haters, man. Fuck them. Peace and love. Peace.
And on that note, we'll be signing out from Fully Baked Radio.
Peace and love. Fuck
wanna
the haters.
Give a
Fuck
big
'em.
we want to
Fuck
give a
'em.
big shout out
That's not
to
peaceful.
Ricardo Rivera and Tatiana Rivera and the whole Tuffy Fight movement. Check them out on Facebook under hashtag Tuffy's Fight. Big shout out to NJ Faces of Cannabis as well. Jack Storms, Jenny Storms, Sarah. Sorry if I'm forgetting anyone. All the kids that's suffering from not getting their medicine.
Medical-freedom.com.
Medical-freedom.com. Go pick up your flag. Shout out to the East Coast Cannabis Coalition, Sativa Cross. Check out the njweedman.com. Also, NJ Weedman's Joint. Coming to you soon. Big shout out to the Coalition for Medical Marijuana in New Jersey. A special shout out to Ken Walski. Making news, headlines as usual.
Yeah.
Putting us cannabis activists on the map.
On the radio today, too. All day.
All day. Can we shout out the radio station? Say which station he was on? Not shout out, but say which radio station.
He was on the New Jersey station.
Yeah, he was-
He was on that talk radio show other than...
And not the other idiots we were down on with Trenton.
Yeah.
Those other idiots.
Yeah.
They're horrible.
We don't know who those dudes are, but big shout out to Ken Walski. He's definitely a pivotal movement in everything that we're doing.
Walski's the man. He was ranting last week about Rastafarians. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah? Nah, I didn't.
Yeah,
I
you
checked
got.
that out.
Oh man, he was ranting. He was like animated, and yeah, I'd never seen Wolski. Wolski. Ken Wolski was ranting about Rastas.
Really?
Watch last week's podcast, people. You'll see.
There we go.
You'll see.
And also a big shout out to the veterans for cannabis and Don Karp. He wasn't able to make it today. He's on his way to Seattle, so I want to give a big shout out to Don and all the veterans out there fighting for cannabis.
Going to Sturgis.
Yeah, shout out to Don.
Yeah.
And thank you to our hosts, Vanessa Maria, NJ Weedman, Lefty Grimes, Cannabis King Barini, and myself, Flip Marley, putting together another amazing show. We'll be back next week We'll have.
We be back next week.
Back
Devil.
Thursday. Oh no, sorry.
Oh,
Wednesday. No.
Oh, yeah.
Wednesday. We're switching up.
Yeah.
Jim Miller could not get a permit.
That's gonna be you
for,
guys.
for Thursday. So it's Wednesday at the State House
All right,
this
Wednesday
week.
at the State House, not
Yeah.
Thursday.
So we'll put
be
that up.
we'll be hosting the
We'll be at
Fully
the-
Baked Radio podcast.
Hell yeah, in front of Chris Christie's office. That's the fun one because we like to heckle the politicians that go by and
Hell yeah,
sometimes
we
just
have
sit down.
we have a lot of good guests coming through. We
Yeah.
always do.
Reed is going to sit down one day with us, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely. Well, stay tuned.
Yeah.
Definitely check us out on FullyBakedRadio.com, on Facebook / Fully Baked Radio, on Twitter Fully Baked Radio, on Instagram and YouTube on Fully Baked Radio.
And make sure you catch us next week with the wonderful Dr. Dina. She'll be calling into our show. Hopefully we can get Bill Levin on the air, as well as our indie artist of the month, Mendo Dope. So stay tuned and stay baked.
Peace.
See ya.